Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be doing a review on the Shuder Prestige boxing headgear. So stay tuned. Hey guys, Carlo here, and today I'm doing a review on the Shuder Prestige boxing headgear. This is a Japanese, or should I say winning inspired headgear that retails for $79. I got mine in red. You can also get this in black. I decided to go with large. They also offer this in small and medium. This headgear weighs in at roughly about 10.6 ounces. It is made of full genuine leather construction and is manufactured in Pakistan. There's actually an indicator right there on the opposite side of the size tag on where it's made. Now, Shuder is a relatively unknown brand. They're actually based out of Korea. I actually purchased this headgear on Amazon, but there's also a website for Shuder. So I'll put both the Amazon link that I purchased this from, as well as the link to Shuder's website, which is in Korean. Depending on the search engine you're using, whether it's like Google Chrome or Safari, there's typically an option where you can translate it to whatever language you're fluent in. So make sure you do that when you do decide to go visit their website. The reason I decided to get this headgear outside of all of you guys asking for a review on it is I just wanted to try it out to see how this would perform, how similar it is to the winning FG2900. And you know, the 2900 has kind of been the benchmark, the flagship for open face cheek style cheek protector headgears for a long time. And you see so many brands that have come out with their own version of it. Some do it better than others. Some do a really good job of replicating the winning. So just wanted to see how this one would perform and how close it is to the 2900. I think the biggest issue that most people obviously have with the 2900, with really any of the winning products, is the price. It is expensive. But it's also great quality, and you know, there's so many different boxers, both at the professional level, at amateur level, or beginner level, that love their winning gear, and it's tried and true. So with that being said, first things first, you'll notice that it is full leather construction. The leather on here has more of a satin finish to it. Very nice quality, very similar to some of the other Pakistan-made brands. You do have the Shuder patch on the front of the forehead. That's all cloth, no plastic there. It says Prestige or Prestige. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, just go ahead and correct me. But it's nice right there on the forehead. Coming down to the cheeks, you do have the raised cheek protectors, just like the 2900, and that's essentially give yourself a little extra protection for a straight shot that comes towards your nose. I've always told people that it's not going to protect your nose as well as a face bar or a face saver. If somebody punches you hard enough, you definitely will still get hit in the nose. Just the whole purpose of the cheek protector is just basically to kind of reduce the amount of impact that lands on your nose. Coming down to the chin strap, you'll notice that it does have this leather flap that goes over the female end of the plastic quick clip system. And you also have the strap right here that has the stitching for the nylon quick clip that clips into underneath your chin. So that's a really nice feature. A lot of headgears that replicate that 2900 have that quick clip system. When you're looking at the padding, I'd say you have almost like 1.5 inches of padding where the raised cheek protectors are at. So you can see it's a nice thick amount of padding. I'd say it's on the medium to firm side. On the forehead, you have almost 2 inches of padding all throughout the forehead with the same density of padding all throughout. So your forehead has a good amount of padding, and it's the same consistency on both the outside, your opponent facing, and on the inside, that's going to be up against your skin. Another feature, or should I say features, that I love about this style of headgear, and it's my personal preference, but I love laces compared to Velcro. So you do have the top crown lace adjustment that's separate from the rear lace adjustment. So the top crown is going to be for the depth on which this headgear sits on your head. So if you need it a little bit higher or lower, you just adjust the laces up top to basically bring the crown closer together or spread more apart. You do have these leather loops that keep the laces together at the very top of the crown. Quality-wise, it's pretty nice. You can see that the stitching looks really clean. You have large right there, and the laces are flat black laces with plastic tips. On the rear of the head, you have the rear closure. That's going to be your, I guess you can say, horizontal or circumference adjustment. So it's going to be the tightness around your head. And that's what you can do to adjust it. The good thing about that is you can pre-adjust them like I did. So all you really have to do when you put this headgear on is slip it on your head and click in the clip at the bottom. So you don't have to adjust this every single time. The back of the head is tapered. You have that V cut. And padding wise, I'd say you have about a ½ inch on the back of the head. So if you end up getting a rapid punch to the back of the head, you do have a little bit of padding on the back. And then the ear donuts, about an inch of padding of foam, a firm density foam, as well as the crossbar, which has, I'd say, about 3/4 of an inch of foam, which is pretty good. I mean, typically these crossbars almost become like kind of like the forgotten cousin. They usually just have that crossbar and it's just a piece of leather. They don't actually fill it with foam. But with this, they added a little bit extra foam to give you a little bit of side impact. That way you don't mess up with your eardrums. And you have that on both sides. The inside is just leather, so there is no kind of suede or microfiber liner. The only issue I have with this is that it does tend to slide around a little bit when you get sweaty. I would have preferred to have a suede liner, but it's not terrible in that regard. So overall, really solid looking headgear and very similar to a lot of the winning inspired headgears out there already. So let's go ahead and slide this on. You can see it slips on my head, no issues there, with relative ease. The quick clip system works the way it's supposed to. The other issue I had with this is where the rest of this nylon strap goes. So once you have it clicked in, some headgears will have like a little flap or like a little opening here that you can slide the strap so that it just doesn't dangle like it does here. And this headgear unfortunately doesn't have anything to kind of like hold it to the side. It would have been nice again to have maybe like a little piece of Velcro or some kind of just sleeve so that you can put the strap so it's not just dangling around like it does. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing, just because it's shaped to my size of head, I might cut it a little bit shorter and then get a lighter and just burn the nylon. Basically it's plastic, and just let it melt. That way it's not as long as it is, just because I'm gonna only be one using this headgear anyways. But as far as the location of the chin strap, it's directly underneath the chin, so excellent placement. It's not against my throat or my Adam's apple, so you don't have to worry about like it getting that feeling of being choked out. Regardless if you're looking down to your side or up, it feels really good. Now the next thing is gonna be your vision, your peripheral vision. That's always gonna be the biggest challenge when it comes to headgears. You do have these raised cheek protectors and you can see them out of your peripheral vision, but that's just the give and take when you get a style headgear like this, is that these cheek protectors will be a little bit on your line of sight. Now the good news is that you still have this section right here that you can still see like uppercuts and shots that are coming from down upwards to your face, where a face bar is completely void of that. So if you have a face saver on, you just have this bar, so you kind of lose that line of sight when it comes to uppercuts, and you're a little bit more susceptible to taking an uppercut or a knee or whatever, whatever kind of strike that comes up, you're susceptible to that. Turning to the side, in terms of my nose being protected, you know, I got hit in the nose a couple of times. You can still feel it, but the cheek protectors did a decent job of protecting and compressing down. You can see I have a fairly large sized nose, so my nose sticks out just a little bit past the cheek protectors. But again, the glove is obviously going to be larger. If you're sparring, you should be in like 14 or 16 ounce gloves. So the surface of that glove is going to be larger than this opening, obviously. So it should be landing more flush on these raised cheek protectors. But yes, you will still get a little bit of contact with your nose, for those of you guys that are wondering. My side-to-side horizontal and upward vision is good. I'd say it's pretty much on point with the FG2900 and some of the other similar headgears. You know, I can't really tell a difference in that regard. If I'm moving, if I'm slipping and bobbing and weaving underneath shots, I can see up pretty well, and I can see side to side pretty well as I can. The ear donut locations is perfect. For my head, you can see that my ears sit perfectly inside this donut. And that crossbar is in a good position. That's on both sides, so you can see the ear donut sits good right there. The back of the headgear as well feels very comfortable. The laces feel great. I have full mobility of my head because of that tapered neck and can look side to side no problem. The headgear is relatively lightweight, so I don't feel like it's heavy or it's weighing me down in terms of being on top of my head. So, you know, overall vision, comfort is definitely there. I'd say my only opportunity or the only drawback is when you start to really sweat a lot. If you do take a shot to the side, like an uppercut or a hook, and it lands, you might end up having to do, and for those of you guys that, you know, spar, then you'll know that you often will get hit and it'll kind of do like one of those. So you have to kind of readjust it throughout sparring. So that's the only thing I would say is the only opportunity. But some people, it might not bother them, so it's really up to you. I mean, it doesn't bother me too bad. This one doesn't slip around too much. I would personally prefer that it had a micro suede liner on the inside, just so that it keeps a little bit more grip to my skin. But outside of that, I can't really complain. But overall, I think this is a really great bang for the buck headgear for, you know, $79 if you want to round up for the sake of simplicity, $80 for you know, a winning FG2900 clone. I think it's a really nice value. You know, the quality is good, solid. I mean, I haven't had any issues, any imperfections. It's full leather, it's not synthetic. The only issue I said is the liner. Maybe the logo can get kind of updated. I feel like this Shuder logo looks kind of old. Like it's like an old ringside logo from like the early 2000s or something like that. So I mean, that's just nitpicking. You know, a newer Shuder logo would be nicer. It would kind of make the brand, in my opinion, stand out a little bit more. But in terms of the headgear, you know, it performs well. Oh yeah, and add like some kind of sleeve or something to hook the excess nylon onto, so that it doesn't just dangle when you clip it in. But outside of that, very satisfied with this. Quality is really solid. I didn't find any imperfections with the stitching. Leather's held up really nicely. And yeah, overall, really satisfied with this. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find the Shuder winning inspired headgear. I'll see you guys later. Take care.